Hello and welcome to this video review of the G&G SIG 552. Let's start with an overview of the box. It's a really nice box, and along with a holograph picture of what's inside. So let's open the box. So this is what you get in the box. The instruction manual, which is very good, contains just some safety features, what you should do and shouldn't do with your gun, a little history of this weapon, and there's no Chinglish in there. It's plain English, so it's fully understandable. It's very clear. Even if there wasn't any text, you could understand what you have and what you don't have to do when operating an airsoft gun. Alright, that's for the manual. Then you get a small bag of BBs. I don't know if they're of high quality or not, but since this is G&G, I believe you could use them. Get the speed loader. It's only for it's as small as that because it's for the magazine that comes with the gun, which holds only 3 rounds, so you don't need a big speed loader. Then the cleaning and unjamming rod, the magazine, which is very well made. It's of clear plastic and you can see the fake rounds through it, just like a real one. It mimics the 20 round magazine. And here you have this little knob here, which ensures every BB gets fired, and I've tried it and it just works. Here you have, that doesn't come with the box of course, but it's something extra I bought. This is made by Action and it's an OD short foregrip, which goes very well with this gun in my opinion. And these cables here reveal a MOSFET that come from Hunter Seeker Armory, and I'll be installing this sometime later. And of course the SIG 552 in all its glory. And as you can see, you have the space here to put a full length SIG, which is the SIG 550. But let's get this out of its box. Right, now I have the box out of the way, so I have plenty of room to show you this fantastic rifle. And I believe it's the first video review posted here on YouTube, so I hope I can bring you a good review. I'll try and do my best. And first off, to show you exactly how far G&G went in replicating a SIG rifle, I actually own a real steel SIG 550, and I've brought it here with me for comparison's sake and to show you that G&G really went down to replicate every small detail you can find on the real rifle. Of course, it's a SIG 550, it's the full-length battle rifle, and the difference in the real version resides in its length, first of all, and most noticeable. And also I believe the gas system here is modified in the shorter 552 version, but every other feature are similar from one rifle to the other. Even the bolt has been replicated, but I'll show you in a minute. For the moment I just took it out from the real rifle for safety reasons, and if you care to know, I've checked the actual rifle. It's clear, no round in it, no magazine, no nothing, so it's safe to go. Alright, first off, I like to start with the stock, and to pull it out, to unfold it, it's better that you play it safely, because I know that other manufacturers such as G&G, Tokyo Marui and ICS, the stock really seems to be the weakest point of the rifle. And even on the real one, I actually have a friend that on the very last day of our military service, he unfortunately dropped its rifle on the stock, and he was right in front of the commander, or I don't know which grade it was, I don't remember, but it just happened at the baddest time possible. So he dropped it on the stock, and the stock cracked here, as far as I remember. And the only thing that was retaining the stock to the rifle was this core here, which is part of the sling that you can find on the other side. So what I'm saying here, to be gentle when you unfold the stock, is that on the real one you can do something like this, and here it is. Don't do that on the Airsoft version. I don't know how solid it is, but I would recommend not doing this. You can do it on the real one, there's no problem, but don't do this on the Airsoft replica. Let's put this aside for a minute, and I recommend doing this like this. So first pinch the butt pad, and then just unfold it gently. This way you will prevent any crack or something, because I don't know if it's weak here, if G&G has taken notice of other manufacturers' failure at this point, but I won't go try and test it, so do it gently, it will save you buying another stock. Okay, so as you can see, here is the pickup clip that is attached right here on the handguard. And what you have also is you have this hook here, which is not present on the real rifle, but it's here, so it definitely stays attached to the rifle, just in case. And it's hooked right here on top of the gearbox, and as you can see, this is the top of the gearbox. So that's it for the stock, and I've not taken it with me, but you can also put the cheek rest here. The one I have is by Tokyo Marui, and it sits just well. So there's a hole on the cheek rest, and you have to make sure to align it with the stock pickup clip, so you can still fold the stock even with the cheek razor. Then here, thanks to Cybergun, just let me focus here. Alright, here you have the real SIG logo, which you can find also on the real one. So thumbs up for G&G, that's a first good point. Then moving forward, you have the pistol grip, and I don't know if you can see it good on camera, but I've been taking all the light I can, and it's not equal as the sunlight or anything like that, but it replicates quite nicely the green furniture that's present on the real one. But here I prefer it actually because it's less shiny and it's darker. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I think it's quite obvious actually. You can see it's shiny and it's lighter also. And someone on a forum, he will recognize himself. I think it's Iron Overlord on his Airsoft. He pointed out that the pistol grip color actually is more towards the Ranger green rather than the OD, and this is true here, but not on the Airsoft version. Here everything is the same color, which is great. And also to mention, the pistol grip is the correct size. I don't know if you can remember or see the ICS version, for example. I think this is the one that stands out the most. It has a larger pistol grip, not necessarily larger, but longer. I think it arrives somewhere here because it houses a different motor, and this one, if I'm not mistaken, this is a short motor which allows the pistol grip to have the correct size. Again, I compare it to the real one. Let's see if I can show you both. It's not an easy task, but it gives you an idea. So again, this is really cool. Then here you have your trigger guard, which you can swivel it from one side to the other, just like the real one. Again, the only difference here is that it's not as stiff as the real version, as the real steel counterpart, meaning that you could, or I don't know if it's going to happen or not, because I've not tested this rifle yet in a skirmish, so I don't know if it happens. I cannot confirm, but I believe that in the heat of the fight you could accidentally bump this from one side or the other, depending on if you're right-handed or left-handed. But still, it looks more solid, more stiff, I mean, than the ICS version, which this one I've seen on many videos, and it's one of the cons of this rifle is that the trigger guard just is swept away really easily. So in order to adjust that, I believe you can do this. It's not really easy to do. I don't know if you can see, but what I'm trying to show is that here there's a part of the spring that is housed in the mag catch. There's a part of the spring sticking out, and that's where the trigger guard engages, and it's how it's retained. So I think a real spring for the real steel version might do it, and this way your trigger guard will stay in its place. What else? The trigger here. Oh, I forgot to mention before starting the review, but this is full metal replica, except of course for the hand guard, the stock and the pistol grip, which are made of high quality polymer. Right, now let's get back to what I wanted to show you. The mag catch, of course, working great. And a quick note on the magazines. The other brand, I'm not sure they will fit, except for the mag 100 round. Excuse me for a second. Okay, I think it's better focus here. I was saying, so the mag brand mags are working here, but you have to find it on, let me just get the original mag. Okay, so here it is. I think you want to see how it looks like. So I've been told that the mag brands, which are slightly longer, they mimic the 30 round magazine, and by the way I think look cooler than the short magazine. They can fit, but you have to do some work on it, and if I'm not mistaken, you have to find something here in order to fit inside. But I have mags with me, but I've not done this modification yet, so I'm sorry, but at the moment I cannot show you if it works effectively or not. Next here you have on the rear one it's an actual pin, but here you have to unscrew this. It doesn't go from one side to the other. It's not a pin that goes through the body like on the rear one, but here you have to unscrew it, and I'll show you that later in the video. This is needed to remove the stock, but I'll get to that later. Here instead you have an actual pin which you have to remove in order to insert the battery, but again I will come to this in a minute. Let's finish finishing to show you what's on the receiver. The selector switch has 3 positions. Number 1 is this right here, which is safety. Then you have 1 round. Here in this position you will have 3 round burst, but it's not present here on unfortunately on the Airsoft version, and all the way to 20. And for some reason it's not written. Oh yes, it is. That's very strange. I'm noticing it right now, but here you have 1 and then 20, and 20 should be sitting right here on this spot, just like on this side. Speaking of this, it's quite hard to operate. I've taken this rifle apart once, and at first the selector switch was okay. It was stiff, but not that much, so I have to see what's going on with it. And it was easily maneuverable, and here it's I feel like it's pinching somewhere, I don't know, but something that's probably going to be fixed. And as you can see here, this white dot here, it's when you go to the shooting range in the military or anywhere else in Switzerland, with this SIG rifle you have to enter in the shooting range with this visible dot, because you're only allowed to fire in semi-auto, not full auto, not 3-round burst, semi only. And what G&G hasn't replicated here is a small plate, which I'll show you on the real one. Okay, so white dot here, and this plate here, this allows you to hide or unhide the white dot, and also it prevents, in this position, it prevents the rifle from going in 3-round burst or full auto. Okay, so that's all for the selector switch. So here you can see these nice trademarks, and they're brighter than on the real version, but it's still nice to have those trades. It's, in my opinion, better to not have any. So because G&G went through Cybergun, they are allowed to recreate here the real trades. Also, on this side of the receiver, here's your functioning bolt catch, and here's how it works. You simply hold the charging lever backwards, and here, this side is easier to see, push it down. Oh wait, alright, and it's locked backwards. This is great because it's like on the real version again. On the ICS Airsoft replica, each time you pull the bolt all the way back, even if you don't press on the bolt catch, it stays locked backwards, which I think for some it might be a nice feature, but I prefer to do it manually because it's just close to the real thing. And of course, once you open the bolt, it reveals access to the hop-up, and the hop-up is just like a G3 or G36 variant. It's a big dial, big wheel, and it stays in place. It's quite stiff. So then, in order to close the bolt, you can either press up on the bolt catch or do this. I prefer it to accompany it gently because, again, on the ICS version I've seen that this button here that serves to disengage the charging handle, this can break and you're left with no charging handle, and if you need to adjust your hop-up in the battlefield, well, you're screwed. So I think I have showed you everything there is to see on this side of the receiver. And one last note on this side of the receiver. So again, essentially the same as the other side, except here's your bolt. And one note on the bolt. Alright, you can see here again the serial number, which you can find on this side. That's it, 2088. And again, this is true to the original. You have the serial number which appears here and on the other side. Same thing for the real steel version. Awesome.